Welcome to another episode of Little Talks, your weekly dose of marketing news and insights from Littlefield Agency.
So as you're tuning in here, happy belated Easter to those who celebrate. We had a nice 4-day weekend.
It was so good.
It was so good. Welcome back to another edition of Little Talks. I'm Sam. With me is
Roop
and
Claude.
And we're recapping. We had a really nice Easter weekend. Claude has some fond Easter memories of just
getting rich.
Getting rich. Roop asked me, he was like, how many egg hunts did your kids have? And I was like, 4. It was insane.
That's a lot.
My parents put coins, I can't tell you the last time I saw a dime or a nickel. And there's dimes, nickels, quarters in these eggs. And then, I don't know if they're listening, hopefully not, they put open jelly beans in with the quarters.
Oh, so you got sticky quarters.
One of my family members used to do that too.
Yeah, and by the way, I put all the money in Matthew's piggy bank last night. My fingers were gray and really gross. And I was like, wow, man, I just haven't done with change in a while. But did you guys, so we do an added perk here at the agency. You get the Friday before Easter off and the Monday after Easter. That extra day really helps.
I told
4 days.
Yeah, I told Claude it wasn't as long, but it felt like our Christmas break in some ways.
Yeah,
it was. The days were long. I was, getting a lot done, and I don't know, it was good.
Yeah, and I always think, I always forget because Memorial Day and Labor Day we do the Friday before and the Monday after, and it's just, or I guess the Monday of, but it's really nice.
Yeah.
I got so much done around the house yesterday. And it was beautiful.
It was
yes,
beautiful.
It was.
75 and sunny, 5-mile-per-hour breeze. A little rainy on Easter.
Pretty rainy.
It was done by afternoon.
It was, and we were outside all afternoon, so it was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys had a good weekend. We have a couple of updates before we dive into our point. Our point.
Looking right at the script, aren't
our discussion. First off, we have a new hire. His name's Chad Graham. Super excited to have Chad here at the agency. Comes to us with incredible experience. Has worked at Saatchi. He was most recently the VP of Marketing at Cavender's Boot Barn. Just some really, really cool experience. Great fit here at the agency. Worked at Quick Trip for 5 to 7 years on the marketing team there. So
what's he doing for us, Sam?
He is going to be a senior manager of client engagement, senior account director. Fancy way to put that. And will be working primarily on the Ditch Witch account. He will work on the H.E. Williams account as well. And just really excited. He's a really great guy. He's got some kids that are now grown. I think he's an empty nester. And we are excited to have him here at the agency.
I've had a couple meetings with him. Smart fellow.
He's a super smart guy. Not that he's quiet, but he's just very observant. He's a great listener, but he is very thoughtful. And I think that's a great skill set for that position.
Isn't there some saying about the fool opens his mouth first or something?
Yeah, I'm a fool, aren't I?
That's me too, yeah. I was going to say.
You going to point fingers at me?
I was pointing fingers at myself.
I'm trying to be a better listener.
Yeah, it's a skill.
It is a skill. I'm not that great at it, to be honest. But Chad, welcome to the agency. Happy to have you here. We have Ditch Witch in on Thursday. Quarterly Analytics. Great to have the whole team here in Tulsa. It's supposed to be rain. Got lots of rain. I guess April showers bring May flowers. So we got lots of rain here. And then super, super exciting. Clope is flying in from outside Cincinnati, somewhere in Pennsylvania. They're coming here to our wonderful agency early next week. So Clope team, we're so excited to have you here in Tulsa in the flesh at our agency. Roop, do you have any updates?
No, I have none. I want to talk about Google, but I also don't want to talk about Google.
I say we won't get on Google. But let's dive into our trend of the day, Claude. Roop, read it off for us.
So this one's, seems on the surface kind of obvious, but I think it's good to put out as a reminder that this is important. And we come across this ourselves every so often. And the topic today is brand consistency across B2B touch points.
Yeah.
Why is that important? What does it mean? How do you do it?
Serves as a great reminder.
Yeah.
And the hustle and bustle of every day.
You can, you can
lose track real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say. So when you've got a lot of people touching your brand, maybe multiple agencies, different departments inside your own organization, it's pretty easy for brand consistency to stray from the center path.
Yes.
Even if you have a brand standards guide, not everyone is thinking about it in the same way the person that wrote it is.
Well, and I'm glad you led with that because I think, and it's even tricky too, is let's talk about your internal B2B marketing department. You all are busy, you're running and gunning, and sometimes brand standards are overlooked or missed. And guess what? We've seen brand standards guides that are literally 100 pages. I mean, we have some brand standards that are simple. You have 4 to 5 pages. There are some that are 20 to 50. And we've seen everything up to 100. It's crazy. Yeah. And you're keeping track of that as an internal marketing department. And to your point, Roop, departments outside of marketing. Mm-hmm. It's tricky.
Yeah.
I think it's very tough. So let's talk about it.
So,
not in the sense of brand standards, but brand consistency.
Brand consistency, yeah. And, why is that important? Well, when you are in the age we live in now is, we've talked about this before, there's not just, just dealing with television and billboards and some magazine ads. You still have those things. Plus you have YouTube and Facebook.
Hundreds
and,
of digital
whatever
assets.
Twitter is now, and, Google ads and Google search and blah, 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 AI search. All these things kind of come together and create a lot more touch points and opportunities for customers to engage or interact with your brand.
Yes.
If your logo is red on one platform and blue and in a different font on another, this is an extreme exaggeration.
And if you are, please,
oh boy, call us.
We're worried about you.
But like if you have that kind of brand inconsistency or tone even, so if on one platform, it's okay to have a little bit different tone depending on the platform. You're going to be more playful, say on a TikTok or Instagram than you would on LinkedIn sometimes. But you still need to have it still needs to seem like it's coming from the same organization. And if the tone sways too much, that becomes a disconnect. And people, when they have disconnects, start to not trust you. Is this real? Is this the right person? Is this the same?
Let me give you an example. I will not name the brand. We are very active on LinkedIn, and a brand that sells through dealership, this is not a client of ours, by the way, posted a Happy Easter. Okay, and this is like a rough and gruff brand, huge international brand. And it's like literally cherry blossoms is the picture. And there's like really nice cursive text, Happy Easter, wishing, which is in theory a very nice thing to say.
I saw a couple of these.
But I'm like, guys, this is so off. I actually did a double take. Like, to your point, is this real?
Is this
did
real?
they get hacked? Yeah. And it was such a brand disconnect for me because I was like, wow, the marketing team messed up here, or a consultant or whoever did this. And we see that all the time. Mm-hmm. Again, it's a very thoughtful message, but let's maybe it's a team of rough and gruff, guys out in the dirt. They're all high-fiving, whatever. Happy Easter. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your long weekend. I don't know.
I would probably decorate the egg in some way that reflected their brand or business or something. I don't know. Like there's a million ways to go with that. But
that's one tiny example.
You
right?
had that experience where you did a double take on it, and you're like, is this real? Is this the same brand? Or is there some imposter that's out there pretending to be them? And that just creates confusion.
Well, we had a client years ago. We worked with them on a project basis. They weren't an ongoing client. And they hired a marketing director, and literally her number one pain point and the biggest challenge that she had to overcome in that role, they had a very active sales team. They want collateral, and hey, I need a PowerPoint and this XYZ. Well, anyway, marketing couldn't turn around fast enough. So they just take it on their own hands, and she would see these PowerPoints. She's like, oh my God, we're not even using our logo. Like the guys, this is bad. Or hey, we don't say that word. We don't do this. This is so we understand, especially, and we love, we want hungry salesmen and women that are advocating for your brand, but it gets tricky as you try to take inventory of everything that's out there.
Sometimes they go rogue. They do their own thing.
Yeah.
So you do kind of need someone that's keeping an eye on this, and not just a department, like a person that's really into it. And that can be different people. Maybe it is your agency. Maybe it's someone internal.
Can I recommend, it's a good reminder for us too, an exercise. We used to do this a lot when I've been here for 9 years now. We used to do this all the time. And it is when we'd kick off with a new client, we'd go through a sales cycle exercise. So, hey, from awareness down to conversion. Mr. or Mrs. Client, bring every piece of collateral you possibly can.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to go through, there's a couple of examples. Some would be super heavy on upper funnel awareness and have nothing from a lower funnel conversion standpoint. Then you'd have some that actually, from a consistency standpoint and messaging, would go all the way across from awareness down to conversion. And then you'd see the mixed messages, the different tones, we're not using X, Y, and Z correctly here. It's a very eye-opening experience. It shows content opportunities, so it might be a good exercise for you and your marketing teams to go through.
Yeah, and just put it all up on the wall and look. I mean, that's the easiest way to kind of notice those differences, right?
Because I think about it, right? When we resize a banner ad, we could resize hundreds, right, on a given campaign. That's a lot, but take some examples, throw it up on the wall, print some paper, trying to save the trees, but it is a good exercise. Or put it in a keynote slide. I mean, that's not a bad way to do it either.
And I think internally here we have multiple people that pay attention to this on an ongoing basis, and there's a constant, hey, this doesn't match brand, hey, this doesn't match tone, and you fix it and you move along.
Well, and Roop, let's talk through, so we have clients, right, that we do really polished, nice video shoots.
Yeah.
And that's Brandon. Brandon's not in the room with us today, but he goes and does that and works with our clients. And then we have the same clients, and we do lo-fi content. So talk to our listeners just in the sense of like, what's your rule of thumb there with, you got super polished, you got very just like, TikTok ready, Instagram, go live, just in the sense of brand consistency. Is it more of a tone thing?
Yeah, and it's the people involved. So when we're doing lo-fi content, that's traditionally involving someone from the brand that understands the content, that maybe does whatever we're shooting or doing as part of their job. So if we're shooting a safety video, it may be someone that teaches safety. If it's a walk-around video, it's maybe someone who does that at trade shows and talks to customers about the products and how it works and the different features and stuff. So the authenticity there and the brand comes through in that you have the same people that you're using in other places anyhow.
Yeah.
The lo-fi part is really just the lower quality of light. And I want to say camera. Brandon and I have been talking. Can I talk about this sidebar real quick? Lo-fi is getting tough because cameras are getting better.
Well, that's the thing. I'm holding up my iPhone here, which is look at that, dude. It looks like I took a bullet to the back there.
Lo-fi back.
Lo-fi back indeed. But these are unbelievable.
They're just shooting at a higher quality.
Yeah.
And, it's not that the lo-fi has to be bad quality, but like Brandon and I have talked about this. We've been out on a shoot and he's like, man, this is starting to look really, really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's okay. But like, remember, this needs to feel authentic. So,
no, of course.
But yeah, what the difference there on brand consistency and that lo-fi content is usually the person and the tone that they're speaking.
For sure. It's interesting. So any other points here you want to hit on just in the sense of consistency? And you got to think, you have so many touch points now.
Yes.
It's getting out of hand.
Yeah. And, if
it's exhausting to us.
you're going to have stuff slip through.
Of course.
It will happen. And I think it's important that everybody who's involved in leveraging your brand assets and standards strives for consistency, but also isn't offended when they stray from it.
Yeah.
If I have to come and say, hey, Claudia, they don't use exclamation marks in their sentences or headers or whatever, okay, thanks for that. Let me move forward with it. Not kind of like, oh, I did it wrong and I'm off. It's not one person's. It's not one person determining those things.
Yeah.
It's trying to get everyone on the same page as a group, and in a group, people are going to need help.
Absolutely. A great reminder on this Tuesday after Easter, I think, a lot of our clients, the hustle and bustle is really, from start of the year, and of course we're always hustling, but as we kind of approach summer months, it's a great exercise, not only with your marketing team, get your sales team involved too.
Yes.
You might have some great new ideas too. And hey, we're not saying, stick to your same old branding. It's a living, breathing document, right? You're always evolving, you're always adapting. So you might come across this exercise like, hey, we see an opportunity here where we can elevate X, Y, and Z. It's always thought provoking. I always enjoy those exercises in a good way as you make your way into the summer months.
It's a little brand consistency audit.
Yep, brand consistency. Yeah, there you go. There you have it.
Yep.
Okay, I love it, Roop. We have a it's a short week for us, so we got to cram, 5 days worth of work into 4 days, and we got a big week next week too. Golly, we're on a huge grasshopper endeavor next week. We'll hit more on that on the pod.
Do you know what next week's topic is going to be?
No.
It's AI related.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. That's all I'm going to say for now.
That's all you're going to give me?
That's it.
Goodness
Come back
gracious.
for more.
Okay. Well, we'll tease you more next week. Thank you. We hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We look forward to connecting with you next week.
Adios.
And that's a wrap. We hope you've enjoyed our little chat and found ways to grow your own marketing strategies. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and follow us on social media @Littlefield Agency.